Hello, YouTube. How are you? My scarf is really tall. I'm trying a new rap. Tell me if you like it or if you don't. Today I'll be coming with you with a book review of Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting in the Cafeteria? And other conversations about race by Beverly Daniel Tatum. I love this book. I love this book. I don't understand why this book is not talked about more. It was released in 1997, and I would recommend it to you. Every single person I meet, I would recommend it to, unless they've read it. And then I would still recommend them to read it again because it was really good. Who is she? She's an educator. She has her doctorate. She mainly focuses on racial development and identity. And why did she write the book? Because she was giving a lot of speeches on while the black kids were sitting together in the cafeteria, racial issues, how it affects people. And she just decided to write a book so it would reach more people, which was a good idea. She starts out the book by giving a definition of racism, and she uses David Wellman's definition, a system of advantage based on racism. And she talks about how she doesn't like, well, it's not that she doesn't like the definition of racism as pride plus prejudice. She doesn't use it because it doesn't really talk about how racism is a system. She talks about how people of color can't be racist, which I was already speaking about before I read the book, but I didn't really understand. Not that I didn't understand it, I completely understood it. I couldn't explain it in a way that that was efficient. And she explained it very, very, very efficiently. She talks about kids and race and when do they figure out what race they are. And she talks about how how white parents don't talk to their white kids about race. They just quiet on it, and how that essentially affects them later on and makes them shy, and they don't know about race. And that's why some think racism is not still prevalent in today's age, which it really is. And she wrote this in 1997. It was prevalent in that age, and it's still prevalent in 2014. Which is also, a good point in the book. She talks about subordinate group and dominant group, which is mainly majority and minority, but she doesn't like to say majority and minority because technically people of color are the majority and they're considered minorities, but it's just a hard, it's better terms, subordinate and dominant. Honestly, that's how I feel. It's a better term, and that's how she feels too. I agree with everything she said in this book. You see, this book was like my Bible for a second, for a quick second, because I read it like I was in it like any time I had a chance, I was in it. Let's see. Can I find a part that I like? She talks about a lot of things. A lot of things. Where is my... Oh, she also talks about how we need to talk about racism more. Even though it's hard. Even though it's, it's talked about to an extent, but not really. I mean, I talk about it a lot. People I'm around don't really talk about it a lot. I mean, me and my friend, we chitter-chatted about it probably almost every day. We, speak on something that happened, an event, something that was spoken on. But a lot of people don't talk about it, which is just horrible. She talks about breaking the silence and how we need to talk about it more, and how talking will invoke a change and a rumbling in people and stuff like that, which I think is really good. Let's see my notes. she talks about that is relevant. She talks about John Baker Miller wrote a paper, Connections, Disconnections, and Violations. And pretty much how it talks about how as people, we want to be heard and we want to share our experiences. And then when we share our experience to somebody who doesn't want to hear our experiences, we close off and we alienate ourselves, and we will share our experience with somebody else who does want to hear, and we will only speak to those people who want to hear us and alienate ourselves from everybody else. He also talks about how to figure out, well, not even how to figure out, but what is a growth-producing relationship. This just touched my whole life. He says a growth-producing relationship has 5 things. It will increase your zest, increase your excitement about this relationship. You will feel a sense of empowerment from the relationship. You will have a greater knowledge. A greater knowledge. Like, this stuff just makes common sense. You will have increased sense of self-worth, and you will have a desire for more connection with this person you're in a relationship in. And those are the 5 things that make a growth-producing relationship. And I just really, this whole book touched me. But that touched me, like, I feel like I should write that somewhere. Evaluate in my life, is this a growth-producing relationship? Is this a growth-producing relationship? Like, I feel like everybody needs to really think about, is this relationship growth-producing? And if it's not, should I stay in it? Or what should I do to make it a growth-producing relationship? So, yes, read this book. Please. I beg of you. Read this book. Thank you. And I will try to do more book reviews, because I'm going to try. I like books and I like talking about books. So if you read the book, say something in the comments. If you just want to say, hey, if you want to comment on the rap, please comment on the rap, because I need to know, is it a yay or a nay? I'm still, on the edge of it, and it's mad heavy. So if it's a nay, I need to know so I can stop wearing it. Thank you.